Hi guys, and welcome to this week's update. Happy to say there's more of an update this week. There we go. Ew. There's more of an update for this week. It's been a very busy week for myself and for my dad. Sorry, I didn't realize the cat was under my foot. So it started off on Tuesday. Was it Tuesday? No, my daughter had a doctor appointment on Tuesday. I thought, I'm getting my days all mixed up. Wednesday, I had a doctor appointment with my primary doctor, so it was my second of 7 visits that I have to have with her for weight updates. According to all of her stuff, since I had seen her the month prior, I have lost 7 pounds, I believe it was, and almost 10 pounds from when she first suggested. That was before I even saw the surgeon. So she was really happy about that. And we talked about a few other things. Her biggest thing is just wanting me to up my exercise. So I'm going to try to be doing that in the next week or so. Until we can get a treadmill in our home, because that's kind of a big thing for me, because I have my bouts of energy at like 10 o'clock at night, and honestly I really don't want to go to a gym at that late at night. I don't feel comfortable going out that late at night by myself, because obviously my kids are sleeping. So I'm like, the best thing to do is we need to just get a treadmill in our house, although my husband has been a little pushback on that due to the fact he's like, well, where would we put it? I'm like, well, we would just need to find room for it. And where I suggested, he's like, no, it's not going there. And that's just kind of where I got frustrated. So him and I need to sit down and talk, and I have to be frank with him and be like, this is part of my journey. This is what I need help with. I need you to not push back about that. So she was happy about that. I realized, then she started talking about my other appointments if I had them lined up. And I'm like, I see Psych on Friday. And I go, I have an appointment I just realized last night that I have on Monday. And I go, I don't even know what I'm seeing or who I'm seeing on Monday. And it had a name on it, but it's not a name I've heard of. So she looked it up, and she's like, oh, that's your gastroenterologist appointment to do your consult to do an endoscopy for the reflux diagnosis. I'm like, oh, okay, so that makes sense. So then at this point, the only thing we're waiting for that I'm going to call next week is about the cardiologist. She said the referral's in. And looking at my sheet, that's the only other required appointment that I don't currently have. So I went and saw the psych today, and I've had good experiences with counselors and psychologists, and I've had negative experiences with them. So him and I discussed that a little bit. Typically I prefer a female psychologist over a male. And I kind of had to go with who my insurance would pay for. And, I was pleasantly surprised. I felt really comfortable with him. I know that they all have, like, the same rules and guidelines of this is a safe place. We can't release any information unless it's you intend to harm yourself, somebody else, abuse situations and stuff like that. They're reporters, which I knew. And other than that, I felt safe with him. I felt like I could get some of the stuff off my chest that kind of has to deal with the weight loss and the weight gain and such. So him and I talked about that, and he even said, he goes, typically, even with the weight loss, he goes, we're required to do the 3 appointments. And he goes, I do the 3 appointments, and he goes, I will admit that I typically go over my time, and we in fact did go over time today. It started a little bit late, like we were 5 or 10 minutes behind, but we went over like almost 15-20 minutes. And so we talked about different things, and he said that like the next appointment is going to basically be 3 hours, and I need to do this testing. So I got that scheduled, as well as doing about a week later, another appointment with them to do the result, to go through the results and stuff like that. And as of right now, from this appointment, he goes, I've had people that I've met my first appointment, and he goes, I don't even get to the testing because just talking to them through the first appointment, he goes, they're not in the right frame of mind, they're not doing it for the right reasons, and he goes, I have to not approve that they're ready for the surgery. And he goes, where you seem to be of sound mind, you've accepted it, you understand it, you're going through the steps of it. It's coming to see me isn't just another box to check for you. So, I mean, that was encouraging. He also said that when we do the results, that he typically takes more time. He goes, some of the other doctors in the clinic, he goes, an hour or less, they just kind of hand you the results and give you your letter that they recommend you can do the surgery, and he goes, and they're on their merry way. He goes, where it's going to be a lot of information, but I like to go over it more in detail with you. And he goes, and if you want to see me post-surgery, he goes, I highly encourage it if your insurance covers it. So, and him and I had to go after my appointment, I had to go schedule my appointment with him for the testing as well as the results. And while I was waiting there, he came over while they were getting everything in the system for those, and I asked him, like, if I ever need to see you for anything that isn't even related to the weight loss, and he goes, yep, you've already established care with me. He goes, I would be glad to have you back, which in a way is very comforting. I mean, I haven't needed to talk to anybody like in that capacity since college, but it's just nice to know that if something would come up where I would need that, first of all, I found somebody I feel comfortable with. Second of all, I'm not going to be waiting months on end to get into a doctor. And he goes, I can put in that we've already established care so that if you do need to see me, he goes, even if it's follow-up, like you're having a hard time stuff with post-surgery, he goes, just give me a call and we'll get you in. So that was really comforting. So that was a really positive experience. So those were the big news. Like I said, sorry, I'm checking something. Those were the big things for the week. Monday I have GI with endoscopy, and I'll be calling cardiology. So things are getting there, and I've already got my third appointment for next month with my primary doctor. So things are already headed in the right direction for that. With my dad, an update on him. My mom didn't really last week go through and explain much, where this week it was a little bit better. Monday he started his infusions. I thought they were holding off on him, but I guess they started him on Monday. Last week he has one pill that he has to take twice a month. It's just the one pill. So every 14 days he has to take this pill. Then he's on the chemo that he had been on previously. That one he has to take daily. And then he has to do the infusions, I think, like every 3 weeks. Or every other week. I don't remember how they're doing the infusions yet. So he did have his first infusion. He did take the first higher dose of the one pill, and then he's on the other pills. So far, my mom said that he has been feeling okay. He hasn't really been feeling sick from it. She said he seems a little more fatigued, but that's about it. But like sickness-wise, that hasn't hit yet. He also, she said, his hair is thinning out, but he hasn't really been losing a bunch of hair. So for now, he is just leaving it as is. My dad's a hippie. He has long hair. And honestly, like my mom and I were talking, I'm like, if he had shorter hair, he always wears a hat all the time or what are they? Like the do-rag type things that motorcyclists wear, especially under their helmets. But it's kind of like a cloth that ties in the back. He wears those. And I'm like, really, if Dad didn't have long hair, nobody would know if he lost his hair, because he's always got something on his head anyways. And she's like, you got a good point there. So she was going to talk to my dad to possibly not shave his head, but to just start kind of trimming it so that when it hits that point, if he wants people to know that he's completely lost it or not, it's up to him. So she was just going to kind of bring that up to him. When he talks to my son, he seems upbeat and everything. So those are our updates for the week. It isn't, for me especially, I feel like more in a positive direction. I'm especially happy that I was able to get into the psych as quickly as I did. Like him and I also discussed that. I said that was honestly one of my biggest stressors. Was I know how hard it is to get into psych, and I was actually shocked I got in as quickly as possible as I did. And I go, in fact, when I talked to my primary on Wednesday, that was her biggest concern was, do you have your psych appointment yet? And I'm like, yeah, it's on Friday. And she's like, oh, okay. And he goes, there are some people that kind of drag on and they're on their 5th month and then all of a sudden, oh no, I haven't done my 3 psych appointments yet. And he goes, so they're trying to scramble to get them done. And he goes, you've got time on your side right now. So basically I'm looking by the appointments. Number 3 should be it will be at the end of April. 4 will be at the end of May. 5 will be at the end of June. 6 will be the end of July. And I have to probably have one like mid-August. So that gets me on track to where I was hoping to have surgery. It was kind of right around when the kids start school. I was wanting to do it after they started school, because at first it was like, oh, do I want to do it when they're home for the summer? I'm thinking, no, I'd rather do it after they start school, because then my mother-in-law has already agreed to like stay with me overnight to help with the kids. She'll get the kids ready in the morning, and she knows she can take them to school. Like when I had to go up to Fargo with my dad's surgery, she was the one that actually took and dropped the kids off at school. She knows the drill about picking them up since I won't be able to drive for a while. She knows that drill, so she can help at least with drop-off. My husband can help. He can figure things out with work for pickup. And I'll have somebody here with me all the time. And I go, the more my husband and I talked about it, I'm like, at least I'll have the time with the kids when they get out of school, but I won't have to worry about like trying to keep them entertained during the summer. Like today being Good Friday, they didn't have school, and I had my doctor appointment, so luckily my other mother-in-law was able to take them while I was at my doctor appointment. And then after, we were pretty much busy all day. And it's like when they're not in school, it's almost like I feel they're at the point where they don't like sitting around. They like to go outside and play, and they do a lot. But like at home, they have a lot of toys and they have a lot of stuff, but they would rather be experiencing things in life than just sitting at home. And I feel that if I do surgery before school starts, I'm not going to be able to give them experiences they would like. So that's kind of why I'm hoping to do it after school starts. It'll kind of suck because it'll be before my birthday or around my birthday, but oh well. I'll have to get used to the new life. So I hope everybody has a great weekend, and I will see everyone later. Bye!